I bet you didn't know the dark secrets hidden in a seemingly perfect summer day. The morning of June 27th dawned clear and sunny, a picture-perfect summer day. The air was warm, the sky a vibrant blue. Birds sang sweetly, hidden amongst the lush leaves of the trees. Children's laughter echoed through the village square, their voices filled with the carefree joy of the season. It was the kind of day that beckoned people outdoors to gather and celebrate. And indeed, gather they did. But this was no ordinary celebration. The villagers of this seemingly idyllic town were assembling for an annual tradition, a ritual known simply as the lottery. There was an undercurrent of unease beneath the surface of the day's apparent tranquility. A palpable tension hung in the air, a subtle shift in the villagers' demeanor. Nervous glances were exchanged, smiles seemed strained, and conversations were punctuated by uncomfortable silences. Even the children's games lacked their usual exuberance, their laughter tinged with a hint of apprehension. The idyllic facade of the day could not entirely mask the sense of foreboding that permeated the gathering. This was not a day for celebration, not a day for joy. It was a day laced with dread, a day where tradition held a sinister grip on the hearts of the villagers. Mr. Summers, a jovial man with a round face and a booming laugh, presided over the lottery with an air of practiced efficiency. His cheerfulness, however, seemed at odds with the gravity of the event. Mr. Graves, the postmaster, stood by his side, his stern face and somber demeanor a stark contrast to Mr. Summers' forced gaiety. He held the black box, its paint chipped and faded, a silent testament to its age and the countless lotteries it had overseen. Among the villagers, Tessie Hutchinson stood out. She arrived late, her face flushed, her hair escaping its pins. She joked about forgetting the day, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of anxiety. Her husband, Bill, kept his gaze averted, his jaw clenched tight. Their children huddled close, their faces pale and drawn. The lottery was an ingrained part of village life, a tradition passed down through generations. No one questioned its necessity, its purpose, shrouded in the mists of time. It was simply something they did, year after year, a ritual as familiar and unquestioned as the changing seasons. The rules of the lottery were simple, their brutality masked by the mundane. Each family head drew a slip of paper from the black box. The one who drew the slip with the black dot upon it would be the lottery's winner. This year, the Hutchinson family was the unlucky recipient of fate's cruel hand. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd as Bill Hutchinson unfolded his slip of paper, revealing the dreaded black dot. A hush fell over the villagers, the air thick with a mixture of fear and morbid curiosity. Tessie, her face now drained of all color, began to protest, her voice shrill and desperate. She claimed it wasn't fair, that Bill hadn't had enough time to choose. Her words, however, rang hollow in the face of tradition, a lone voice of dissent against the unyielding weight of conformity. The black box, its paint chipped and faded, sat upon the stool like a harbinger of doom. It was a symbol of the lottery itself, a tangible representation of the village's dark secret. The villagers avoided touching it, their gazes sliding away from its sinister presence. Whispers, barely audible, snaked through the crowd. Old Man Warner, the oldest man in the village, muttered about the foolishness of questioning tradition. He spoke of the lottery's importance, of how it ensured a good harvest. His words, however, held little weight for those facing the lottery's grim reality. Section 5. Tessie's plea, a cry against injustice. Tessie's protests grew more frantic. She pleaded with her neighbors, reminding them of her kindness, her contributions to the community. She pointed to her children, their faces stained with tears, their innocence a stark contrast to the cruelty unfolding around them. But her pleas fell on deaf ears. The villagers, their faces hardened by tradition, their hearts numbed by years of blind obedience, refused to acknowledge her humanity. They had drawn their lots, and the lottery must proceed. Section 6. The horror unveiled. A rain of stones. The villagers, young and old, picked up stones from the pile that had been gathered earlier that day. They approached Tessie, their faces a chilling blend of fear and determination. The stones, smooth and cold, became instruments of death in their hands. The first stone struck Tessie with a sickening thud. A collective gasp escaped the crowd, followed by a deathly silence. Then, as if released from some unspoken command, the villagers surged forward. Each stone thrown a testament to their unquestioning adherence to tradition. Section 7. Blind obedience. The darkness within. The lottery was over. Tessie lay dead, her body broken and bloodied, a stark reminder of the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of their seemingly idyllic town. The villagers, their initial fervor dissipated, began to disperse, their faces etched with a mixture of guilt, relief, and a chilling indifference. The lottery is not simply a story about a barbaric ritual. It is a chilling exploration of human nature, of the dangers of blind obedience, and the seductive power of conformity. The villagers, ordinary people living ordinary lives, become complicit in a horrific act because they are unwilling to question tradition. They silence their own doubts, their own humanity, in the face of societal pressure. Section 8. Echoes of the Lottery. A timeless warning. Shirley Jackson's chilling tale serves as a timeless warning, a stark reminder of the fragility of civilization and the ease with which we can become complicit in acts of cruelty and barbarity. It forces us to confront the darkness that resides within us all, the potential for evil that lurks beneath the surface of even the most civilized societies. As we turn away from the horrific events of the lottery, we are left with a profound sense of unease. We are forced to ask ourselves, could such a thing happen in our own communities? Are we so different from the villagers of Jackson's fictional town? The answer, perhaps, is more unsettling than we care to admit.